Hello, Tulsi.
How y'all doing?
We're all doing great.
Oh
We
my
just got
god,
here
is
now.
that
Zero.
There's a lot
Keys?
of
Is that
people.
Wilmick?
Oh my. Hey, right
Hey,
here.
dude.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, strip down, bro.
Have a pizza pie.
Hey,
Is there
thank
anything
you.
you need me to grab for you?
Have a pizza
Fucking
pie.
mess in the pizza, isn't there?
Hi.
I don't. Maybe
I
that's
love
why it's so
pizza pie.
addicting.
You want a pizza pie?
No, thank you.
Alright,
I can't
that's
hear
fair.
you.
I had a little bit of pizza. I had pizza earlier and I
Too
passed out.
many? That's fair.
The Pilsner pizza combo got me. So
I get it, I
No.
get it.
yeah, you get how it goes.
I can hear you now.
Oh, this
Yes.
is
There's a lot of
happening.
people.
Skulk, I need Skulk. Go grab Skulk.
On a bus.
It's Duolingo.
I took my Spanish lessons.
How do you say hello in Japanese?
He has nipples.
Konnichiwa.
Guten Tag, Duolingo.
Oh.
Hola.
He's standing still.
Gracias.
Oh my god.
I can also do that.
Dude, I love Phantoms.
A week or two.
Awesome, that sounds great. And then Ben Keen, what's your plan for handling law enforcement, economy, or public events in Hexacomb, and what makes your approach better than your opponents?
For law enforcement, I believe that if anything happens against the server rules, the core server rules, like anything griefing or bannable offense, the first thing that should be done is obviously a warning, then banning the player if they keep misbehaving. The second thing we should be doing is as well trying to get to the core of any conflicts that may occur to see what best solution we could find to make the players happy. Maybe they're behaving a certain way for a reason. For the economy, the S&P standard is obviously the diamonds. We could also bring the netherite as they are non-renewable resources. Also, implementing some sort of, if some of you guys remember the Dave coins from, I believe it was 2 seasons ago, as they could be done through the data pack and texture packs. And for events, we could do karaoke as we are implementing some data pack that will allow us, not a data pack, a mod with the voice chat that allows us to have custom music directly on music disk in Minecraft. But I remember having an issue with this. People would just spam different music, take too much space on the server size. So we'll have a dedicated team to make sure that every music is not being spammed, the loudness is being regulated, so every music sounds nice.
Awesome. You guys really came prepared for so let's start back again with Sarah. Tell us one thing you believe your opponents are overlooking in their campaigns. Well, to put things in all fairness, it's probably going to be the fun. My campaign, the Jork Gang, our main like talks that we have been like bringing up is like all of the events that we have planned. We have several events planned for every single week within this month that we plan to run. And I don't know, I just haven't heard a lot of plans to coming from the events. Interesting. Titan, what's one thing that you believe your opponents are overlooking in their campaigns?
Well, I mean, I stood up here and gave a pitch for an event first off, so I mean, I'm already planning, so I've got that going for me. As far as my opponents, if you look at Jort Gang's spawn booth, it's about as light as their platform is. They don't really have a lot of ideas, and they don't really know how to implement them. I think I'm hearing a lot about a lot of people who aren't here, unfortunately. And I'm sorry they couldn't make it, but I would definitely like them to be here, especially Jort. Um, I really have nothing but love for Ben and all his visits from Jagus. I don't think Jenny Mod's really that viable, but I'm not
Nonsense.
opposed to it either.
All right. the
In our
gloves are off,
defense,
guys.
we've been focusing on the Nether Highway.
All
How's
right.
that going?
Let's.
Great.
Okay. All right. Let's move on to Benkeen. Is there anything that you believe your opponents are overlooking in their campaigns?
So I have a few worries about some of the policies of my opponents. I will start with the Toasty Man policies, so the Chegas party. My first worry is about the world border expanding every week. I know it's to get the players to explore the world. My main worry is that since it's every week, what if we get a biome or we don't get a biome during this expansion? Well, we'll have to wait an entire new week, or having the border expanded by only a few blocks might have other players instantly rush to explore each and every week, making it so that the first one who logs in is the first one to get the resources. That is a worry I have. The second worry I have about this is for people who doesn't like exploring, is because I remember you guys talking about having items strictly for specific areas. I think every item should probably be available for anybody in the server as long as they have a way to pay for it.
So let me clarify a couple things real quick. So the custom items were actually going to be more like artifacts. So if you have a settlement, a civilization that there is something that you would like to tie to it that is important, that it may get passed around the server, it may get stolen from somebody. That's part of the lore. I thought that was more of it, not limiting resources. As far as the world border expansion goes, this current map we're sitting in doesn't have an ocean monument in it, and we've all gotten along fine for about 2 or 3 weeks so far. So I definitely think that, yeah, like we have to wait a week, but at least we're not waiting as long for that change as we have so far.
All right. I do agree on the monument aspect. I just think it should be one big expansion. That way, people have all the time they need to explore the map. And I want to implement Blue Map, which will allow players to see which area has not been yet explored, so they could see where they should head first. I do want to talk
Blue
about
map
now
is also one of our day one data packs. So
I do also want to talk about the Jord gang, my Jord gang worries. My first one being the law enforcement. I do believe that's a decent idea, and I really think it could bring a lot of fun, as it is your guys' aspect after all. My main worry, though, will be what is stopping a player from simply doing the same thing over and over again, because it might seem enticing. We've all played, maybe not all, but a lot of us has played GTA before, and being chased after by some police officers may seem fun. Maybe some player will seek their heartbeat going up with the being chased.
Well, my response to that would have to be like issues that can't be handled because they're like happening so many times would have to be handled by moderation, which will be given with proof, being with clipping softwares or just overall screenshots and like logging for like
how
griefing.
about Brisk killing his friends over and over?
That is something we cannot control. We've told him multiple times to leave that alone, and he will not stop. So that will probably be taken care of later on. Yeah,
Interesting.
yeah, I definitely would like to put him in prison. He's like not great.
I do have two other worries. My other one would be letting the spawn be freestyle. For our policies, our aspect would be to have different areas, multiple ones, so that it can be one for everybody, as well as some freestyle one. So that's a bit of a worry to let every player do what they want to do. But no, it's not a worry to let them do what they want to do, but let them do however they want it to be happening, because we could have a way much more organized spawn with different areas, with a theme, not necessarily a build restriction, just a theme.
Well, what we meant by theme, we meant by like Victorian versus like Gothic builds. Like we will have like areas sectioned off for like, oh, these are for blocks, these are for like armor, this is for other stuff. Like we will have like areas like sectioned off, but there won't be any like sanctioning on actual builds.
All right.
All right, guys, let's move on to the next question. Starting with Sarah. I know we've all talked about, or all of the candidates have talked about getting pre-votes in before they actually put a new law into action. But let's say you introduce a new city law. It's popular with one group but sparks protests from another, and yet it goes through. Do you revise it, defend it, or scrap it?
Well, that's pretty simple. We revise it. Compromise is always an option. If we were not to compromise and if we were to compromise and it does not work, then scrapping will be put in play because in the end, it's the enjoyment of the players that is most important.
All right, Titan, the same question to you. Do you revise the law, defend it, or scrap it?
I think that we want to get things right the first time for sure. So we don't want any laws implemented without community input, without your guys' input. If we have to revise stuff later because, the community is all for a revisement, then we will definitely be, listening to the people.
Awesome. And then Ben Keen. Would you revise it, defend it, or scrap it?
So we would first of all try and get it right on the first try, as Titanic has said. However, I do want to revise them if, of course, the community is unhappy with the law, because it will help us self-reflect on whatever we have decided to implement. Maybe the law might not be the best thing we've done, and that might be why the people are angry, which is important to have feedback and to see what we've done.
All right. And then back to Zero. If the server begins to decline in player engagement under your leadership, what would your emergency plan be to bring it back to life?
Well, every plan can come into two. You have your A plan and your B plan. So my A plan would be to increase the world border, encourage more exploration, or B, create an event for everyone to enjoy to boost in like activity. So like for people that like PvP, but also people that don't like PvP, there would be like events catering to both of them.
Awesome. To you, would you have an emergency plan to bring engagement back to life?
Yeah, I think that we could definitely encourage a lot of events as far as, potentially taking one group of players and another group of players and saying, hey, we devised a scavenger hunt across the world, and you have to find certain items. And once your team has collected enough of them, you win. I also think that the weekly border expansions, like we're thinking, would be a good way to keep players engaged while also expanding the territory.
Awesome. And then Ben Keen, if the server begins to decline in player engagement under your leadership, what would your emergency plan be to bring it back to life?
I think this is the most basic answer, but it's the right one, being the events, obviously. Now, there has been some different events we've talked about, some being specific event game modes. I don't know if some of you are familiar with TTT from Gary's mod. I believe that would be probably a way to implement that in Minecraft, or maybe other game modes like some sort of imposter like Among Us, where we secretly give people some sort of action, some roles, and we tell them to be doing that. Maybe you guys have been looking at the Hermitcraft series on YouTube. They've have had some tag and other activities that will bring not only the people together but also have more player engagement, which should bring back some more players. We also have the Jenny mod, which will bring tons of players.
All right, you guys, all those ideas sound great. We've heard the word fun being tossed around, especially with the Jork Gang crew. Starting with Sarah, what does fun mean to you in the context of Hexacomb, and how do you plan to protect or enhance that experience?
In definition from Jork Gang, fun is something that creates a long-lasting memory, whether it be a funny mishap in the middle or an overall joy of winning. That's our main goal to uphold through communication and well-thought-out planning with the community itself.
Awesome. And then Titan, what does fun mean to you in the context of Hexacomb, and how do you plan to protect or enhance that?
I definitely think that Hexacomb's fun has always been what we make of it. I have seen plenty of interactions just, in the last 20 minutes here that have, a lasting impact on all of us in our Season 6 memory. And I think continuing to promote that and protect that is what I want. I think community is everything to us. And I think, with both of my candidates up here, that's what we can all agree upon.
Absolutely. Ben Keen, what does fun mean to you in the context of Hexacomb, and how do you plan to protect or enhance that?
For me, the biggest aspect of fun in Hexacomb is definitely the player interactions. So obviously, this can go back to what we've said multiple times before, being the events, and as well as implementing the custom texture pack for the server for the roleplay value of it. I believe we had that before. I think it's time, or not. I mean, I think it's a great opportunity for everybody in the server to bring that back. Whether we have some people that loves modeling that wants to bring their own hats to the game, I think it's a good option. It can bring up some roleplay aspect to it. Some other people might want to work on models. This is, after all, a Minecraft server, so we gotta make sure that everyone is still having fun. There is also the competitive aspect. For some example, maybe some people want to fight. Maybe some people want to fight each other with the new items that the game brings. The mace. Maybe once the happy gas gets released, some people wants to do some games where they fight each other, like planes. A great example of the competitive aspect of it is, for example, what is going on at the moment, the mayoral thing, which has been really fun so far, having to think about everything. The mayoral campaign, having to do the little thing for example, the map art for us. It's been a lot of fun.
Awesome. And so, let's go back to Zero. This is our second to last question. All right, guys, so we're almost done. How accessible will you be, or your main mayoral candidate be? Will players be able to reach you easily, and how will you handle feedback or complaints?
Well, myself and Jort always have our messages open. I may not always be in game, but I do lurk in the server and hop on when I can. When it comes to like criticism, I am very open to any criticism. It's constructive, it helps you be better. So I will be sure to take in any suggestions as, unbiased as possible.
Awesome. And then Titan, same question to you. How accessible will you be as mayor? Will players be able to reach you easily, and how will you handle feedback or complaints?
Usually when Toast isn't on, I'm usually on. We both have, jobs that we have to do, but otherwise I'm logging on almost immediately after work for, at least 2 to 3 hours a day. On top of that, we'll be setting up when we're not online a city hall of sorts with suggestions, comments, complaints boxes so that you can have your voice heard. And we'll also be doing more than likely either weekly or bi-weekly kind of, I would say, community meetings of sorts, just so that we can go hear any voices that we need to in the moment and kind of talk about it all together.
Awesome. Great answer. And then Ben Keen, how accessible will you be as mayor? Will players be able to reach you easily, and how will you handle feedback or complaints?
So I will always be available over on Discord. I have my DMs open for anyone to message me as long as we share the same server. The worst case scenario for me would be to take about an hour to respond if I'm online, because I'll be busy doing something else. If I'm not online, then I'll simply respond once I get back. Being on Minecraft would be the weekend or evening time for me during the week, as I am a college student and I also work 1 week out of 2. So obviously, having to do some real life stuff makes it a bit harder to hop on Minecraft. Now, as well, I do have a running mate, and since him and I talk a lot, if I can be reached, of course, either copy paste your message to me and him, or just message him directly for a greater chance for a response if I'm not online.
Awesome. Great answer. So, very final question. Or really just rather it's just a statement. Is there anything that we haven't talked about that you would like to address as a mayor or mayor candidate? And oh boy. My train of thought is missing. Just give us your final, like, sell yourself.
Well, I would like to note that I know that we're new, and I know that we do have some loose cannons, but they will be handled. Don't worry about that. And I would also like to state that even though our areas may not look so pretty or well planned, as Tite has said, just note that our main focus is not selling how we look, it's selling what we can do.
Awesome. And then Titan, this is your final chance to sell yourself. Go ahead.
I was reminded of something when I first asked Toast if I could run with him, and it's that we actually wound up running together for mayor back in season 1, and it really shows that our platform is time tested. We have ideas to implement them, we have some backup ideas. We have a lot of ambition, but we all want it to be community driven. I thank everybody for coming out today and listening to all the candidates. And Chagas thanks you as well. We definitely are very excited to see what happens with this election regardless, because we understand that the community's voice is the only voice on Hexacomb.
Awesome. Great answer. And then Ben Keen, this is your final chance to sell yourself. Go ahead.
So I do want to talk about any members that it has been on Hexacom for more than this season. If they can remember what we were able to build, we definitely want to implement all of those knowledge back to Spawn to have for any organization we have planned. And I do want to also talk about the Jord Gang party. I do want to give them my it's an honor for how could you say it? I'm really glad they didn't take the fact that they were new to this season to take a step back and not try to run for mayor, and I really appreciate that they went for it even though they are new from this season.
Thank you.
All right, guys. Thanks for coming. Thanks for talking with us. Voting is now open in the back behind the stage. One player in the booth at a time. And you may only vote once. If somebody is not online right now, they can message me or Pix or somebody else, and we'll get your vote in. Thank you guys for coming. Yay.
Woo!
All right, you guys want to line up in the back?
I want to
and
go
start voting?
first.